What?
Ah!
Frick.
Whoa! Freaking frick! Holy! Okay, yeah, it's good. Real good. The Quest 3 is such an upgrade from any previous Oculus headset, and it is definitely worth the 800 Australian dollars I got it for. So let's talk about the good and the bad, but starting with the good.
Soundboy is right about now. Soundboy is right about now.
Damn, it's good. It's not Apple Vision Pro category, but it is freaking good. You see, the Quest 3 doesn't look that much better than the Quest 2 in terms of screen door effect, but that is because the Fresnel lenses found on the Quest 1 and 2 blur the image slightly, which reduces the screen door effect. You see, the pancake lenses on the Quest 3, one of the main selling points in my opinion, produce a crystal clear image, but because of that it gives the image a bit of aliasing compared to the Quest 2, but ultimately it's just so much better. And another benefit of the pancake lenses is look how compact the Quest 3 is compared to the fat Quest 2 and the dummy thick Quest 1. And of course, it wouldn't look this good without the high resolution, now being 2208 x 2064 as opposed to the Quest 2's 1832 by 1920 and the Quest 1's 1440 by 1600. But that brings me on to the other good part about the Quest 3, the new Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2. Compared to the Quest 2, it's not the biggest upgrade, but if you watch my previous videos, you will know that I used to use the Quest 1, and the Snapdragon 835 was outdated even in 2019 when the Quest 1 released. And in 2024, it took so long for anything to load. I mean, to turn the headset on, it will take a good 3 minutes, and in some cases, way longer. I couldn't even get into clouds and Gorilla Tag, because this would always happen. The Quest 2 and 3 both fix that issue, but yeah, the new processor on the Quest 3 just generally makes things look a whole lot better. You see, the problem with the Quest 1's FOV is that the stock facial interface gives good FOV, but is super uncomfortable due to the dummy thickness of the Quest 1. And the Kiwi facial interface, which I had on my Quest 1, limited field of view as compromised to make it more comfortable. I'm glad this isn't an issue on the Quest 2 and 3, and I can breathe easily now knowing that I have better comfort without sacrificing FOV. But speaking of the bad, and you've probably noticed, I am rocking a third-party strap. I will make a video about this later, but my point is that the stock strap and facial interface are just not cutting it. It's a shame that the Quest 3 has such good hardware improvements, but Meta just doesn't care about these important parts. It's really not cool that someone's first experience with such a good headset will come with these stock parts. It could genuinely be a turn-off for people that don't realize the third-party accessory market exists. But luckily, Kiwi Design, BoboVR and AMVR, and many more companies can fix this issue. I mean, the stock facial interface wouldn't be so bad except for this cheap mechanism, which is a pretty good idea in theory, but just not well executed on the Quest 3, and it feels very cheap. To be honest, I'm scared to take the facial interface off because I've heard horror stories online that the mechanism breaks so easily. Like I said, I will make a third-party accessories video on the Quest 3, but for now, don't buy any of Meta's overpriced accessories. Please don't. Meta reckons this is basically the main reason to get a Quest 3, due to its mixed reality features, which include the 2 color pass-through cameras, depth sensor, and low latency processing. Now don't get me wrong, it is way better than the Quest 1 and 2 pass-through, but it definitely still could be better. It's still so useful when you need to look around you or troubleshoot Questlink or even do chores in. It's definitely a very neat feature and I love it. Future me here. I now just realized I never spoke about controllers. Well, the controllers themselves are good. They are basically lighter and stronger Quest 2 controls and with better haptics and a button door release cover thing. However, the tracking, while better than the Quest 1 controllers, is probably unfortunately worse than the Quest 2 controller tracking. But, in this pass-through footage, you can see how the virtual Quest 3 controls is sort of following my hand, even though the actual controller is sitting on the shelf. Well, this is because the Quest 3 tracks your hands while also tracking the IR LEDs on the face of the controller. But yeah, take a look at this video. Okay, how is this tracking? I've covered up all the IR LEDs, there's blue tack there and there. What? And then Beat Saber. What? What happens if I do this then? Cover up the hands as well.
I don't know what to do or say, but I know what I need. If you wanna escape.
So now the VR controllers don't need bulky rings to track the controls, which is a really neat thing. With all that said, these are my thoughts and early experience of the Quest 3, and in comparison with the Quest 2 and Quest 1. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.